Welcome back, everybody, to the Exit Row. I'm your host, Adama Anderson, here with Justin Mohr.
Hey, how's it going?
And Paige Larsen.
Hey, guys.
And this is episode 31.
Nice.
Hey. So we all just recently came back from a good old trip to LAX.
No place quite like it.
Love it.
What do you want to talk about? Hey, there's a
Hey.
reference there. Hey, so let's go ahead and talk about first, there was a race. We had a race that was between Paige and myself. So those who don't know, Paige and I, we live here together in this
Everyone knows.
home. And Paige, you started off the race to LA.
I did.
Let's
Me
go ahead and
my
talk about it.
parents flew via Southwest, my BB. Fun fact about that, I was actually almost going to change my flight to fly Lone Star 1 out of here, and then she switched. So
How did you know that?
Dama sent me an email saying, hey, Lone Star 1 is flying to Phoenix, like, at basically the same time we were going to depart. And I told my parents, I was like, we might have to change our flights. And then she ended up switching due to a 2-hour delay the day before. So
So Adama kind of almost would have screwed you over, actually.
a little bit, yeah.
I mean,
well,
you
not
could've
really,
said
but
it
I
if she
still would have gotten there. But yeah, it would have been the change all for naught. But yeah, so we.
He's always looking out for us. You
Exactly.
specific, yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
But the trade-off actually was we flew through. Wait for it.
Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, we have a...
We have a thing
did.
for this.
There you go.
That was actually even better. Get to it, though.
Yeah.
The wonderful world of Denver International Airport.
Well, for you, that's not much of a trade-off. That's actually probably how you would want to do it.
Well, so originally that's how we planned it, so that I could show my parents through Denver. We had about a 4-hour layover there, and it just went by so fast. Any layover in Denver just feels like it goes by so fast to me. So first stop was Jamba Juice, of course, for myself. My parents, not huge fans of Jamba Juice, which I'll respect it, but I'll still be a little bit salty. They got coffee at the coffee shop, which was right next to it. And then we went out to the patio, the deck,
Shout out Terminal C, right? Is that it?
Yes, and so all the terminals have it, but Terminal C, in my opinion,
But
is
where
not.
you were specifically, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Terminal C. Went out to that patio.
Good
Fun.
views of Denver Air Connection, by the way.
Yes.
DOC.
My mom might kill me for this, but when we were coming off
Do
the
it.
plane in Denver, I learned when I was a few rows ahead of them. And so I got off
Sit
first.
together?
No, I tried to save us a seat, and then some guy just sat down. I was like, "You got to be kidding me!"
Oh, so you had completely different boarding positions?
Yeah, because
that's
I got
kinda funny.
I got pre-check. Yeah,
That kind of reminds me of the time that we all flew Southwest together.
I do remember that.
You were way back behind me and Adama.
Except I was way up in front this time. But yes, I remember that. I know you just had to bring that up.
Well, you kind of did.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't, but okay, whatever. But anyways, so I'm waiting for my parents to get off the plane, and I notice they're
Getting
Clothes
on the
are
plane.
wet.
Getting on the plane.
off the plane in Denver.
Oh, you
Yeah.
were there. Okay, gotcha. My bad.
So I get off first. Their clothes are wet. Come to find out, my mom spilt her entire ginger ale on both her and my dad.
Shout out Paige's mom.
Yeah, Paige's mom. What?
That's kind of funny. And yeah, so they had to go to the bathroom
So,
and clean up.
How did she, spill it?
You just have to know my mom.
Okay.
That can be left for interpretation.
Yeah, I was just thinking,
slip there.
did she, what?
Probably knocked it over. What I would assume happened, and she'll probably correct me on this, is that I would guess it was on the tray table and she just bumped it over, and it just because
It can be tight in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah, there you go.
But now that I've met your mom and knowing that happened is hilarious.
right. But yeah, so we got to Denver, 4-hour layover there, and then our flight. What's up?
There was a problem in Denver, though.
There was.
The world famous problems that they have.
What was that problem?
Did they have some transportation issues?
Oh, the train broke. That's it.
Yeah.
Always has
I
to,
did not have to
remind you.
use the train, but as we were boarding our flight, they said that the train has malfunctioned. Mechanics are coming.
So how did people get from terminal if you had to, what would you have done?
Actually, don't know that. There's a way to walk. It's.
Is there?
There
guess I don't
has to
know.
be. I think
They've
I'm
got
not sure.
20 miles of tunnels in the whole airport.
Right, but that doesn't mean they're necessarily publicly available. Right.
Yeah.
I guess
good
I honestly
question.
don't know. Yeah.
So that happened right before we boarded. So I couldn't go, and we were a little bit far from the train, because if you've been to Denver, you would know that when you're on like the main terminal, you can look down and see like the train area.
Oh, right.
And yeah, if we weren't so close to boarding, I probably would have gone in.
But luckily, you
to
didn't
see.
necessarily need to transfer terminals, right?
No. And thankfully, the Jamba Juice on Terminal C had opened up, so I didn't have to go to Terminal B for it. Otherwise, I
God.
would have run into that issue, but thankfully, no.
Thank God.
All for Jamba Juice.
Like, yeah, thank God. But yeah, so from there we departed to LAX. We flew Maxes the whole way, by the way, so that was cool.
All the Maxes. There you
Yeah.
go. Was it a Max 8, Max 7?
And Max
8, yeah.
to LAX. Yeah.
Max to exactly.
Boom.
Max to LAX. Yeah, so Southwest only has the Max 8s
Okay.
as of right now.
Oh, that's
so,
right. I thought they had some 9s. No?
Yeah, they don't even have the 9.
I'll believe you.
The regular.
Resident Southwest spokesperson, Paige.
Exactly.
Sorry. We're so
Swore
sorry.
they had 9s, though. But anyway.
They do not. But yeah, and so that's where me and Adama started our race, because he departed from Omaha, the direct flight to LAX through American.
I like how she's telling you. That's supposed to be Adama's story.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
true.
sorry. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I got on the aircraft here.
Should we all tell each other's story? You tell
Everyone.
them how I got there. You'll tell how. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yes. So I decided to take the direct flight so I could work a full day at work, which we only have one direct
What an
flight.
outstanding citizen you are.
Right.
Upstanding citizen.
Have to work, right? So here in Omaha, we only have one direct
Debatable.
flight. What?
Debatable.
We're talking about you behind your back.
You have to work or not.
You're
Not
like
debatable.
literally doing it in front of me, and I don't even know what you're saying. So we're having a side conversation.
You were
Okay.
saying.
So Omaha, we only have one direct flight to LA each day. And so I decided to take it because I actually like landing on the south side, and also I like direct flights if I can do it.
That's funny because you didn't land on the south side.
I didn't on this
Yeah.
one. And so I get up in the air. Paige is still waiting in Denver, and I make my way towards LA, and I get into Colorado, and I'm probably, I don't know, maybe 100 miles away from Denver. And that's when Paige took off. Now, knowing speeds and everything, I go, okay, I should be able to catch up to Paige, but we'll see. And then Southwest was going like,
They did a typical Southwest behavior.
yeah, they were going like 480 knots, and the Embraer 175 was only going to 375. It's probably due to engines and all that. I don't know the fastest speeds, cruising speeds for those aircraft, but anyways, Paige did finally get in front of us, and you landed in LA before I did. But the race was to the H Hotel. That was the race.
Yeah, we got screwed over a little bit by.
Wait, so real quick though, if you guys know LAX, so you landed. So again, you flew American,
I flew American.
specifically American Eagle.
Correct.
And you flew Southwest.
Yeah.
And you landed south, being in a
Yes.
northern terminal, and you landed north, being in a
North.
southern terminal.
Correct.
Because I remember tracking your guys'
Yeah.
flights on Flight Radar, obviously going Chino Dot. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
you know.
You guys landed on those things that don't make sense.
Yes.
Kind of things. Yeah.
And that one didn't make sense to me. But
Me either.
whatever. So we got vectored into the north, and Paige had landed. I'll let you tell your part up to when I landed.
Yeah. So we land, and we're kind of by.
So
I
we
can't.
land.
I'm trying to figure out where we were stopped here. Was it by Tom Bradley?
I think you guys were just behind Tom Bradley, like where the bridge that goes over, in like kind of towards the back on the west side of LAX.
Yeah.
You guys were just kind of stopped there towards the ends of the runway, kind of.
Yeah. So we were stopped there waiting for our gate, right? And we were stopped there for a long time, and I'm saying probably 20 minutes.
Yes.
And I'm tracking
It was
Adama.
about 20 minutes.
Yeah, I'm tracking Adama. He's getting closer and closer and closer. I'm like, crap.
Anticipation is. Oh, that's not the right.
Wrong one.
You want. There you go.
Yeah,
There you
there
go.
you
Adama's getting closer.
Yes, that was me. And I was like, oh my gosh. My parents were in on this, and now this flight, they were sitting by me. They were in on this, and we were like, we gotta go.
Was your mom still soaking?
Not by that time, thankfully. But, so we start going. Our gate had opened up.
Taxiing, also
Taxiing,
known
yeah.
as. Yeah.
And so I'm sitting on the left side of the plane. The north runways are to my left. I see Adama land out my window. He sees me when he's landing.
Yep.
It's like making eye contact and everything pauses. It's just like, yes, exactly. Like, I was like, crap, there he is. Like, and so
Oh, you weren't mad. You loved seeing it.
it was kind of cool because I'm like, oh, there he is. But then I was like,
Hi,
This-
BFF.
crap, we're in a race.
Hi, BFF.
This is the great Omaha race, like to LA.
Exactly. And so, so Southwest is the first. The Southwest terminal is the first stop for the shuttles, of course.
Terminal 1.
Terminal 1. So we get down there. We're waiting for our bags. We're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting forever.
No, you have no idea. Stop. No, you don't. But anyway.
But we finally get our bags. We get on the shuttle. The shuttle gets there fairly quickly.
All right, so now we're going to pause. So you're on the shuttle. However, I land and I have to go over to Terminal 7, I think it is.
Terminal 5.
Yeah.
4 or 5.
With the Eagle's Nest, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Take the bus.
You got to take the unique bus ride.
Yeah.
I had to take the unique bus ride.
Most people might hate, but for Av geeks,
Yes.
the Eagle's Nest ain't the worst place to go.
Exactly.
So again, I get to my gate and I have to take a bus to get to Terminal 5. So we have to just make sure people know that because all the Embraers, 175s, they all go over there.
Pretty
right?
much.
For American
So-
Eagle. For American Eagle, that is.
Yeah.
The other ones go to main terminals.
And so, yeah, so I finally, we land, finally get, you have to walk over to where you need to get to the bus. And yeah, so I get on the bus, get to Terminal 5, I get my bag finally. And now Paige, she's actually on the bus. She's like, you got to get on the shuttle. You got to get on the shuttle. See if we can get on the shuttle at the same time.
Right? Because that would be so epic.
Right?
Yeah, as if you weren't going to see enough of each other all weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, but from Omaha starting 4.5
I get it.
hours later.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
So yeah, we get on the bus and it fills up quick. We get to the next terminal. We get to Terminal 2, Terminal 3, and people just start
What's next
loading
4?
on.
Then 5?
Yeah.
Whoa.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so it's filling up quick. And now when we get there, it's about in that 9 o'clock hour, and this is rush hour for LA. So this is all of the departing and arriving.
One
some
of the
of
mini
those
rush hours, yeah.
one of their rush hours, especially with Australian Asian flights. I mean, packed. And I'm hearing the communications with shuttle drivers. Everyone's saying they're packed, they're packed, they're packed. They can't take any more. And so we're approaching Adama's terminal. He's texted me. He's saying, I'm out. I'm waiting. And I'm
I've
like,
been waiting for 5-10 minutes.
and there was one seat available on the shuttle, but the shuttle driver denies him getting in. And
Really?
Yes.
They let people stand all the time. That's funny.
Yeah,
Wait, so
no,
you
I
actually
I
did-
waved. I waved and saw the shuttle go by.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. And this guy, he
What Adama won't tell you is he did cry because he's like, no, Paige, no.
Yeah, that's exactly how it went. Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, because I saw us going by American. I did not see you, but I think you said you saw us.
I did. I saw you guys, and I also saw like 4 more shuttles go by because everybody was packed. Because guess what was happening that weekend? It was the first weekend of Coachella.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I also think it was just a weekend. It was also just a Friday or Thursday. Or you guys got
It's
there
a
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and the people that were actually with me, they all were going for Coachella. So I was like, oh, there you go.
Yeah. I mean, that was one of the many reasons. It's just LA as well.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's a very, very, very busy time to get into LA. And so I do end up getting to the H first. I won the race.
Womp womp.
For you.
Congratulations
You don't
to
sound
you and
very
your
excited,
parents.
yeah.
Thank you.
Parents have a good time.
Oh my gosh,
Likewise,
yes.
we can get into it
Yeah.
as we talk chronologically. But yeah.
Right, yeah.
Did your mom dry out?
Yes. Both of them did. Yes.
Good.
Such a way of saying it, like.
I mean, yeah. You said she was damp. I'm going to go with that word.
Ah,
She was
yes,
damp.
damp.
Yeah.
She was damp. Okay, so all right. So Justin didn't come out that day, but he did come out the
Nope.
next day. So let's continue with the chronological order of everything. Friday, April 11th.
Also known as Paige's birthday that day.
Yeah.
It was Paige's birthday.
Shout out.
Hey. Shout out to my born day.
This was the day of you. So
Yes.
how did we?
But let's go ahead and talk about me. Ironically, this is the day of Paige, so let's go ahead and talk about me real quick. Is that what you were going to go for? Sorry, I didn't want to butt in.
Oh, no, I was going to go in chronological order, but yeah, that's right. You started off in Omaha. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because you started off early that day. Your
bad.
flight in Omaha.
Actually, no, I didn't know what you were going to get into. I'm sorry, because I didn't leave till later in the day. So if you got something you want to talk about,
Oh, no, I was going to talk about her during the day
go for it. Talk
and
about
like what you
Like-
did with your parents,
What we
waiting
did, like,
for
before the day
you.
before you took
Because
off.
technically that was chronologically correct. So
Yeah.
go for it. Sorry, hate to interrupt. This is not about me. Go for it.
But anyways, so I
I'll be
wanted
there eventually.
You will be there.
so I wanted to take my parents to the legendary LAX places. So first up on the list,
Because they haven't been there. So
yes,
like, to be clear, this
so
is their
this
first
was
time.
their first time there. Yes. So first on the list was the Hill, Cluttis Park, or as I like to call it, the Clut.
The clut.
The Clut. Justin hates it. It's kind of funny. One of the reasons.
Really not.
But yeah, so we go there, and we're actually kind of teaching my parents how to identify Boeing versus Airbus. Didn't really go too well.
Well, but first you met up with somebody.
Yes, so Christine got there.
Yes.
My friend Christine, she got there. She
Adama
flew in
always
from-
has to tee something up. Because you,
That's
always,
true,
you
that's
never
true.
do it.
Like, but first.
But Paige, remember. Paige, remember.
So yeah, so she got here. We were having coffee down at the Coffee Bean in the H. She arrives from Reno. She got in.
Yeah, she
early.
flew in to come see you.
Yes, a few people did, and that is just like one of the most. It truly is like a humbling experience. Like all these people, they not only flew in but got a hotel for however many nights to come for my birthday, which is like.
Well, let's be honest. If you were having your birthday at the Duluth airport, maybe a little different. Maybe a little.
This is
different. Maybe a little different.
How about Watertown, South
I
Dakota?
really want to give you the credit of what you're saying, but if your birthday was at Grand Forks International,
Oh
I'm
God,
not sure it'd be the same.
Right.
probably not. Probably
Might
not.
say, "Hey, happy birthday" via text.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean either way, I appreciate it.
Oh,
you know?
absolutely. It's very cool.
Yeah, so from everyone that came down. So Christine, she got here. So it was me, Adama, Christine, and my parents. Had to order an Uber XL, obviously, lots of us. Get to the Clut, and we're there for about an hour teaching my parents Airbus versus Boeing. My mom was struggling a little bit. I'm gonna have to put a PowerPoint presentation together for that, I think.
You know, those are in nowadays. Those are back in PowerPoints.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it'll pay off. So we were there for about an hour, and then we head over to In-N-Out for lunch. Got ourselves some burgers and watched some planes.
Which is obviously a must stop for any first timer.
Exactly. And so the way I wanted to do it was going to the Clut first and then over to In-N-Out, because not only to have lunch, because we were at the Clut in the morning, and then to go to
I mean, again, if you don't know what she's talking about, because they might not know what you're
The
talking
Hill,
about.
Clutter's Park.
Imperial Hill, Clutter's
Yeah.
Park, yeah.
And so we get to In-N-Out around lunchtime, and that's when a lot of heavies come in. So the Lufthansa 747, we got some 777s, 787s, and
A380.
yeah, exactly, the A380. And so that's just things that you need to experience at In-N-Out. And so my parents loved it. My dad was actually a plane spotter a little bit. He was taking pictures and showing everyone, and they thoroughly enjoyed it. They had In-N-Out for the first time. I believe that was the first time having In-N-Out. Great as always. And then we ended our day at the H.
But while at In-N-Out, Justin was on the move.
He was on the move.
All right, is it my turn?
He was making his way.
And he actually, I'm just going to interject here with this. He almost flew the greatest plane ever, the A319.
But
Very unfortunately, it swapped. And, all planes, I love all planes. They're all cute. But the A319, come on now. That was a little bit heartbreaking to me. So sad.
I'm
the
going
Avgeek gods intervened.
to be
On an
I
A320.
don't know about that.
I'm going to be with Justin on this one too. So
Yeah, he came out to me about that the other day, and I was a little
I
upset.
came out about that.
It came out about what?
His dislike for the A319, and I did.
Really?
I'm with you on that one.
Really?
And I can't understand.
Oh,
They're so cute. You look at
kind of
the
like
outside
how
of them;
a
they're so
sticker's
cute.
not a special. Funny how this works.
It is a special. Well, I thought we said it's not a special livery, but a special, just to make that
Funny
clear.
how people just kind of come around, don't they? Yeah.
I don't know if it's coming around. I've just always been
I guess I was
quiet.
more
Remember,
ganging
because
up or,
I
yeah.
love watching you two
It's funny
debate.
how one person can be delusional and then the other person becomes
I will
delusional
say,
too.
Ironically, one of the best, I shouldn't say best flights,
gonna be a
but one of my more special flights was on an A319 because that was on the original PSA livery. So I will say, and
okay.
unfortunately, that was on an A319.
Fortunately,
Unfortunately, I said.
how's that not one of your favorite
But
points?
anyway,
Beyond me.
hey, good on you. I appreciate you coming.
No, bad on you. What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Y'all are crazy.
No,
I mean,
no.
it turns out he's been holding this in the whole time.
I have been.
Yeah, see, it's not like this is new development.
Remember, the start of
this
this
is new
podcast when I created
information.
it was to see you two debate each other because of the A319 was one of those arguments. And I'm like,
That
I
was-
love this. You guys,
Arguably, what started this podcast a little bit
Yeah, there
was
is no.
the
Yeah, and what's
A319.
really funny is there is no argument. But
There
anyway,
is
hey, so there's a lot
definitely
to
an
get to.
argument, and
We
I
got a
had
lot
a
to get to
Pages
here.
poll about it, and
We got a lot
people
to get to
agreed
here.
with me.
We got a
So
lot to get to here. All right, so
let's talk about Justin. Okay, Paige.
I'm going to bring
This
out
is
all
not-
of my A319 models for every podcast now.
This is not the exit row with Paige Larsen.
well, debatable.
I mean, it is, but go on. You may have your segment.
Oh, he may have a segment.
Hey, you know what? I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Wow.
For doing that. Yeah, I know this is the birthday pod.
Okay.
The birthday pod. In fact, the title's probably going to be the one where Paige has a birthday in LA, kind of thing. Maybe something along those lines.
It could be.
I was thinking about the Great Race, but we'll
I
figure
think
it
we
out.
got to involve Paige's
Amazing
birthday in
Race.
the title somehow.
Yeah, it's going to be something.
Because it's only you two in the race.
It's only about
I
Paige.
wasn't part of the race.
It's only about Paige.
Yeah, it's about you.
You know,
guys.
Paige, you're now the host. I'm fired. Bye. I'm out.
Oh, God. Yeah, here we go again with the whole firing.
All right, Justin.
Yeah, let me know when you two are done.
Let's get back.
I am done. I have
track.
made my point.
Justin.
Yeah, so anyway, it
Let's
was that
start your-
Friday. It was that Friday, aka Paige's birthday. The whole kind of reasoning behind this outing, this specific outing, that is. So yeah, I went OMA, DFW, Omaha to Dallas, and then Dallas to LA. Fortunately, the Avgeek gods were on my side, like I said, and subbed an A320 in. Luckily, which is funny because it's like a 17-year-old aircraft subbed for a 27-year-old A320.
Yeah, I was about to say. it's
Yeah.
Super old.
Anyway, fact of the matter was it wasn't an A319. So yes, got to Dallas, had a few hours that inadvertently turned into several hours actually. So I was flying. Reason I went through Dallas specifically was to grab the 777-200. I've only been on the 300 with American. I've flown the 777-200 with United, but not American.
Yeah, I remember
so I was
that.
able to knock this out. I mean, eventually it did happen, but like I said, I think it was like a 4 o'clock scheduled departure between 4 and 5 out of DFW. Would get into LA around 6 or 7. That's the beauty of flying west. You gain time, you don't lose
Yeah.
any time, versus when you're flying back east from the west coast. But anyway, so there was originally there was a plane swap, which just kind of created an hour delay. That's neither here nor there. Everyone can deal with that. But then there became mechanical issues, which unfortunately was one of those where they didn't really find the issue until you're on board. So you're on board
Yeah.
and you're getting those. I'm sure other airlines work the same ways. I've just unfortunately only noticed this with American on significant delays where they'll ping you and notify you of another delay. Your departure time has changed to,
Yeah.
so-and-so time.
And Flighty will do that too for people who have that.
Because I remember you guys texted me eventually. You're like, are you coming or not? You're like,
Yeah.
because this was a tough delay. I guess, long story short was they couldn't close the cargo door, which is critical.
Very much so.
Critical. Can you imagine a plane flying with a cargo door? Suitcases just
Little.
Yikes.
shoot.
Yeet.
They couldn't, I guess there was a problem with a scanner, and so bags weren't scanning. So obviously that has a lot to do with weight and balance and, just a lot of logistical things with that in general. Because I noticed, you can track your bags with the app, just like a lot of other airlines. And it'll show you when it's scanned in and scanned out. Because I'll admit, I don't have, an air tag in my bag, which I really regret not doing this time. I keep saying I'm going to do it. And then it was this last time. So none of the scanners were working, which was part of the issue along with the cargo door. So no one knew whether their bag was on board or not.
And that could
kind of thing.
develop issues if someone's bag legitimately did not make it on.
Which is crazy because I wasn't too sure if that was the case with everyone. Because fast forward a little bit, we get to LA. Great flight on the 777-200, by the way. I sat in 17L. Shout out to that row because it's a 2, specifically for that, it's a 252. Typically in the
Wow.
economy plus whatever you want to call it. the middle set, like business class, if you want to call it. It's 352, but row 17 specifically is 252. So
I
that's
did not
pretty
know the
legit.
777 had 5 in the middle.
It's wild.
That's
Which, by the
crazy.
way, shout out to those people while we're sitting on the tarmac for like what was like almost 2.5 hours on that delay, and you got all those people. I always think about those people crammed in economy. We haven't even took off yet, and you're just been.
Could you
crammed
imagine
there.
being in the ultra middle seat trapped between 2 people on each of your side?
Oh man.
Like,
Yeah.
that's
But anyway,
wild.
getting like shout out to getting on board. Anytime you board a heavy aircraft is just so awesome. It's a high unlike any other.
It really is.
Unfortunately, I couldn't take a left because obviously the dream is always to take a left. But I
Yeah.
took a right, but I didn't go long. Like I said, shout out to row 17 specifically because it was just 2 right there, which is weird because I discovered that each row still has a screen on these 200s. It's an older aircraft, but it comes from
right.
below the seat. It's so
Oh.
weird. It comes from below the seat. I had to a lovely lady next to me that didn't speak any English help me out. I don't know how that happened.
Wow.
Clearly, it looked like I was in distress. But I discovered that the way these screens work, and I'm sure most people on this podcast already know this. It's an AvGeek podcast, but the screen like comes from underneath the seat. It's the weirdest thing, and so it kind of like props up in front of you.
Isn't it like it's like this thick too, like the arm?
It's on this weird like arm attachment.
Yeah,
It's-
yeah.
It's very.
So does it come from the side or does it go right up in the middle?
So it kind of sits just like right here, kind of caddy corner. Yeah, you can
Okay.
adjust it, but like it comes from below you. It's very
That's
weird.
interesting.
Kind of like you think about. It's not exactly like this, but like when the tray table comes from inside the armrest.
Yeah.
Think about it like that, but underneath
Oh,
the seat.
okay.
Yeah. But anyway, it is funny because it's not like it's not like a modern TV. It's a bulky piece of technology
Orange
that you're.
boy.
It's a bulky piece of technology that you're just bringing up from underneath your seat. Shout out to the lady next to me. I wish I knew what she was saying, but she did help me out. So shout out to her. But yeah, it's a long delay. And then, like I said, fast forward, we got there. Because, what was that, about 3-4 hours late, technically? I think.
Oh, yeah.
Because we were going to have all night there.
Yeah.
I was going to have all night there. And I didn't get to the H till like 10 or 11.
Yeah, it was pretty late.
With barely time to spare. Had to say happy birthday on the day. And then barely got there.
Barely, yeah.
But yeah, because that same issue became another issue when we landed. Once again, had an issue with the cargo door because we waited for our bags for an hour and a half.
Oh,
1 hour, I timed it. It was an hour and a half that we waited for bags.
okay, so that's why you said
horrific.
what you said to me earlier. I didn't realize that
Yep,
you had
yep.
waited that long.
Yeah, and then not to mention, then you're going to go wait for a shuttle. So yeah, no, it was brutal. So yeah, it did turn out, and it's one of those things since they weren't scanning. I wasn't, and again, I didn't have an air tag in my bag, which I get it. That problem has been fixed. But at that point in time, I didn't have confirmation that my bag was there. You know what I'm saying? So nothing was scanning, so I didn't know physically whether it was there or not. Spoiler alert, it did show up. But I was standing
goodness.
right there, like where they come down. I was literally standing right there watching every bag come down. Oh, wrong one. I don't know
Which one are you trying to do? That one?
That's that.
that's the one, brother. But yeah, no, that was a stressful evening for a little bit. It's one of those things where like little things like that can just ruin an evening so quickly.
Yeah.
Like I said, just flew 777, had a great sunset flight, had a great time, and then you're just sitting there wondering if your bag even made it and whatnot.
Yeah, that's
Not
tough.
to mention, we're at baggage claim where it's a 777 full of people.
Oh, yeah.
We got
Yeah.
200 people sitting there, and the baggage claim in Terminal 4 is not glamorous by any means. No windows, nothing. You're in the bowels of LAX at this point, sweating. Just, just
Oh yeah, that's right. You do go down. Yeah.
Yeah, you were in literally the bowels of it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, see, I've never been to that baggage claim, so.
No, I spent,
Only
I
Delta
spent
and
some time there,
Southwest.
kicked it there for a little bit. But yeah. So anyway, 777-200 with American knocked out. Great time. And then, yeah, I had my own personal race to the H by myself. Wait, no, actually,
No, you
ironically-
had a race
That's
with somebody
right.
else from
Yeah.
Omaha.
I did remember that.
An unannounced
I didn't even
secret
realize it
race.
was a race. That's right. Because our friend Shayla, who is another local Omaha spotter here.
Who was on like episode 5.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, an early
one of those two
episode, yeah.
episodes. If you want to listen to it, take the safe bet and just listen to the first 10. You'll find it. But anyway, so she was on the podcast with us. Again, she's a local Omaha spotter. She came out again as it was Paige's birthday. We had many friends and family as well attended. But so Shayla I guess we kind of did what you guys did. We both took separate flights from Omaha that day. And I left 6 hours earlier than Shayla, even though I was connecting. But I left 6 hours earlier, and yet she beat me to the shuttle somehow. Just
Ooh.
kind of think about the logistics of that, right, for a second.
Yeah.
But anyway, because
And you guys go on the same shuttle.
yeah, because luckily I found her because she had never been to LAX, kind of like in this case with Paige's parents. They had never been there.
Yeah.
And I mean, she even admitted like she was a little intimidated by how big, which is easily done if you're not into, if you're not into going somewhere new, especially by yourself. Like it can definitely be intimidating there.
Yeah. That was the second time I had ever flown alone was to LAX.
Yeah,
Way back forever ago.
It can be a lot, especially when it's a massive airport like that and there's a lot going on.
lot, yeah.
There's a lot going on. And so she went the route that Adama did. She took the nonstop from Omaha. And so she went to the Eagle's Nest. She went via bus. She knocked out all modes of transportation that day. So we ironically met because I had a feeling we were going to meet each other, but the way that worked out in a funny way was, see, this is how I know she didn't know what she was doing, because as I was walking to the shuttle, I found Shayla going the opposite direction. And that's how we bumped into each other, where she was going the complete opposite direction. And so we ran into each other, literally, boom. And so then, we rode the shuttle together and met up with you guys that night. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So 2 races happened.
I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
I guess Shayla and I
One
did.
was an inadvertent race. Yeah.
One was a
Exactly.
race that should have never happened.
No.
That was a race that should have never
I
happened.
agree with you on that.
But shout out to American for making that one a thriller.
A fun time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
for making
Oh yeah,
that
because
one
you
a thriller.
both took American.
Yeah.
Yeah.
American Eagle took American, yeah.
So then that was Saturday. Also,
That was Friday.
or Friday. Who else was out there? We were up there because
Yeah, so AVL was streaming. Kevin was up there. Shout out to everyone who came. So it was me,
Me.
you guys. Yeah, me obviously. You
you were there, yeah.
Yeah.
all right, guys. Yeah.
You guys, my parents, Kevin, Rudy, Christine, Linda, all came out for my birthday. We saw Kate there as well the next day. But yeah, it's just so humbling and so like I appreciate it so much. Like everyone who came out to see me that day, like it's just super awesome and honestly like the best way I could have spent my birthday. So
You're welcome.
Yeah.
yes, thank you.
Happy birthday.
Seriously, thanks to both of you too, because that was seriously an awesome trip.
So that was
Should we dive
Friday.
into Saturday? Dive into
Let's
Saturday.
talk about
a little bit?
Saturday.
What did happen Saturday?
What did happen Saturday?
That's a good question. You guys went to a soccer game later in the day, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You want to show that off a little bit?
Yeah, I'm just gonna show it off. They were
Yeah.
giving out
Really get in
replica
there.
rings.
Really get in there.
To
Closer.
where
Since,
nobody
since the
could
LA
go.
Galaxy
Yeah.
won.
Closer. Nice.
There you go.
Oh, off center.
It's really heavy too. Sorry.
It's
for this.
weighted just enough where it's so
Like-
awesome.
Yeah.
But anyway, some background on that. That was a giveaway at the soccer game
Yeah.
that day.
Yeah, it's to the first 10,000 people, and
And Paige was 10,001.
she was 10,000.
I was the first person not get it, and I will always be upset and salty, but because I love the Galaxy, I'm a fan, but he's been a fan for many, many years, and I was like, it's right for you to get it, and I
Decades.
hate that I didn't, but if anyone deserves it, it's you. So
Well said, Paige. Yeah.
So yeah, but earlier in that day, so that was in the evening for the soccer game.
yeah, so my parents left earlier in that day. In the morning on Saturday, they flew with Southwest through Phoenix, and Phoenix is my mom's favorite airport. Now that she kind of deemed that her favorite airport.
It does have the best name.
This is true. This is true.
Sky Harbor.
So, they flew through Phoenix, got home to Omaha safely that evening.
Any spilled drinks? How we doing?
Say what?
Any spilled drinks?
Spilled drinks? Nope, not that I know of.
The fact that we had to think about
She had
it.
to think about it. Like, how many times?
They
does
did
my
accidentally
mom-
leave their jackets in the terminal, though.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I meant to follow up on that, so I take it you guys didn't find those drinks.
No.
No, we did not.
No.
Okay. And then Christine left that day too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she left that morning, right?
Yeah. Yeah, she left after my parents did.
Okay. Did some plane spotting.
Yes.
Did your parents see us at the top of the H? I always meant to ask this. Because
I will have to ask them, but I have to go back through my pictures.
I remember to tell them to sit strategically on the right side.
And they did.
Yeah.
So I do have to go back through my pictures and see if I could spot them. But that was the day that the new Korean Air livery came in on the 747.
Oh, that's right.
So,
That was the first American flight too for it.
Yes.
that
I
was
think it
his
was like
first time on U.S. soil.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
like the third flight for it with the new livery.
On the 747 specifically.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it had just come out like the day prior or
The livery had
couple
been
days
out, but
ago.
on the 747.
On the 747,
'cause,
yeah.
again, they did it very quietly. Like, it was just unannounced. Like,
Yep.
it came
Yeah.
out of nowhere.
Well, and I've always been a fan of that livery ever since I saw it. And I always said, like, this is going to grow on people.
Because we actually did talk about it on this podcast,
Yeah.
whether they were going to, not the livery per se. I mean, we did talk about that, but whether they were going to put it on 747s
Yeah.
and A380s.
And I said it's going to look so great on the heavies and on the 747s and A380s. And sure enough, it just does. And
Shocker, Paige loves it. No way.
right.
Shocker.
So yeah, we
No, it
were
does
all
look
up
good.
there
It
spotting
actually made
that.
a
That
return
was-
trip that next day, too.
Yes,
It did, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say I'm a somewhat fan, but I'm
It
still
looks great in the sun, not going to lie.
in the sun,
Yes.
not
It's
in the
got that
clouds.
ITA shimmer to it, you know?
Yes.
That color.
It's a shimmery blue.
But it looks
yeah.
unfinished to me. I'm sorry. I mean, we don't necessarily need to get into this, but I made a comparison the other day. I think I was talking to Randall about this. Shout out.
Shout out Randall.
It looks like it's been wet leased from like another airline, and like the word Korean, the way it's sitting there, it just looks like it's just a very generic title. It looks like they're covering up like what used to be on there.
They're like, yeah, and we're not really Korean Airlines anymore. We're like Korean Transportation.
They dropped the air. They're just Korean.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't mean the color's not great. I like it. It just could be more.
And I do wish they would have kept the Pepsi with that same color.
Kept the red in there or something. Yeah.
A little bit of splash. Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like they just did a photocopy. You know, like I'm just gonna stamp it on every aircraft. It's just gonna look the same. Like it just. Eh.
Yeah, luckily for the color, like if it was just a very bland white, like that would be the most cookie cutter livery ever.
Oh, I was so
Honestly.
scared that it was going to be pure white and then just that blue.
That would be wild.
That would have been terrible.
That would like we've talked on here before. Just copy and paste with these new liveries these days. Honestly,
Yeah.
Yeah, and that same stupid new font that they're all using. Just
Yeah.
don't like it.
But yeah, because did we just like spot on Saturday? I honestly don't remember what we did Saturday. I remember later on Saturday because I remember Shayla.
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
Shayla hadn't been to LA, so I took her to a couple the prom.
Yeah, we went to In-N-Out that day.
I remember we all went to In-N-Out.
Okay, yeah.
Remember I went to 7-Eleven.
Yeah,
and
and you
got
got
those
the
really
gas station
sketch
tacos.
gas station tacos. Maybe that's not a gas station, but it
Those
was
are 7-Eleven tacos.
7-Eleven street tacos, which
Yeah,
which did not hurt.
surprisingly.
Then you guys went and did sports.
Yeah, we went to go
And-
to the game, then we came
Because I
back.
remember we went to the Proud Bird that evening, hung out.
That's right. How was Proud Bird?
It was Proud Bird, man. It was great. Yeah.
It's always nice to see
It
him.
was
Those.
expensive, but that's what Proud Bird is.
Yeah,
That's true. That's
But
true.
guess what? We keep coming back. So
and you get an
joke's on
amazing
us.
view, right?
So joke's on us.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, it was great. Again, like kind of like I alluded to in the case of Paige's parents, Shayla had never been there. So it's always really fun to see people on their first time to LA. Like especially those moments where it clicks where they realize how awesome this is. Because again, the rooftop at the H may not be like the most glamorous place in the world by any means. In fact, it's not. In fact, there's really nothing up there. But when you've been there for a whole weekend and you find yourself not leaving the rooftop hours on end, then it hits.
Well, and something I've been telling people is that if you are not really an aviation person prior to going there, you're definitely going to be at least a little bit into it after you leave.
Because like your dad versus your mom was more, the plane geek, right? He was more the av geek.
Yeah.
And probably this trip just kind of enhanced, if
Yeah.
not
Oh, yeah.
strengthened his passion.
Well, and he was taking pictures too. Like In-N-Out, he was taking pictures, and then Friday night, he just like pulled a chair up to the glass and was just watching the planes go by.
That's H Hotel 101. Yeah.
Yeah, it really
absolutely.
is.
He
And
did
so when they were leaving, when they got into Phoenix, they were already like, "We're planning our next trip back," like already. So, it's
I mean,
the LAX.
it happens. It happens. It does.
Oh, it does.
Mm-hmm.
And we keep going back. Take my money. I feel like that Futurama episode.
Just handing
Take
the card.
Take my money.
Just handing the card.
Yep.
So do we want to go Sunday now?
Yeah, let's talk about Sunday.
Which is a bummer of a day because you guys left.
We did leave.
Very much a bummer of it.
Enter sadness.
But there's also a reason why we left on Sunday. We could have done it on Monday too.
Yeah.
But first off, how do we start the day? We ended up over at
Plane spotting on the top of the H.
Yeah.
we didn't go to the hill. That's right. I was like, I thought we went there, but no, we did not.
You guys, I think, did that like Friday morning is what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We ended up going over there to watch you guys depart, but we'll get there.
Yep.
So yeah, we did some plane spotting up. Oh, that's right. Yep. We were up at the top of the H doing some moves, doing some pictures.
Yes.
Omaha crew. You'll see it. It'll be the cover in a bit. And yeah, so we just kind of enjoyed the last
Took it in.
few hours that we had
It's
together.
emotional when you know it's the last time together.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Paige and I, we made our way out to Terminal 4 or 5, whichever one, back to American, taking the direct flight
To go to the Eagle's Nest.
back. Yes.
So this
Eagles
was my
Nest.
first time in the Eagle's Nest. This was my
now let's
first
talk
time
about that.
Bus.
taking
Bus.
the bus.
Bus. Bus.
Now, one thing I was a little sad about is that we had like the black gray over the windows. I wish Shayla had the open windows, and I'm like, why could I not have had that?
You get the one with you had the ones with the decals on the bus kind of thing, so it makes it
Yes.
see out those windows. Yeah.
Yes, I had that.
You had a
but
bus
still,
with a special livery on it, is what you're saying.
yes, we had a special livery bus.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, I work in trucking. Trucks have special liveries too.
I've seen that before.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
And it's a Airbus transportation.
Yeah.
Just
Hey
kidding.
man, we love transportation here at the exit row.
exactly. But it was so cool because we were taxiing right next to a 787, and the wing was right above
It's like
us.
over the bus, right? It's
Yes,
incredible.
it was so cool. Like it turned like so. Bus going this way.
Microphone, bus.
So-
And then
so
plane
it's
turns
bus.
like this, wing over bus.
It's awesome, yeah.
I was like, there's the winglet literally right above my face.
It's
My
incredible.
face is full of wing right
So I
now.
remember my first time going on that bus was it happened to be at nighttime, and you're on the tarmac, but it's one of those things until because I saw these lights and I thought it was another car, and it was a 777 that was crossing. I was like, oh my god.
Are we going to die?
And everyone on the, everyone, a majority of your average person on that bus is like, just get me to the terminal. But,
I'll never
we've got
understand.
both hands on the glass, face pressed up, that's how it is, right?
Like, I mean, as an av geek, I wonder, how can you not be that way?
Oh my gosh.
Well, and then to see aircraft take off and land, the landings, just
Yes.
see, you're like, oh wow.
It's awesome. The bus ride is not long enough.
No, you're
Eagles
right.
Nest. Now, there are some longer bus rides available at LAX, if you know, but to the Eagles Nest, yeah.
It's just crazy being in a land vehicle, stopping at a stop sign.
Shout out to land
Like-
vehicles.
A land bus,
An airport bus. Short
Exactly.
Airbus number.
and you stop at an intersection, not waiting for other cars, but you're waiting for a plane.
Right. No, absolutely.
crazy.
There's airports like LAX, DFW, many others. There's legitimate intersections
Yeah.
where planes are involved. So awesome.
Yeah.
Yield right of way to, pedestrians.
Yes.
That's the way it is with planes. Yeah, literally. Yeah.
Try that at military bases. That's pretty cool to see a big old fighter go by. You're like, oh.
Man, yeah. So let's see, you guys went nonstop.
Went back to the Eagle's Nest.
Yep.
What did you think of the Eagle's Nest?
You know,
We mentioned the bus ride.
Yeah.
it's not your
the only
high
thing.
class,
I mentioned the bisque.
The
yeah, Seinfeld.
the star of the show. Yeah. Yeah, it's not a high class terminal by any means. But one thing I'll say is that it's very calm, peaceful, and quiet. It's not your crazy, hectic international terminal.
Yeah, because there's only a few gates over there. So yeah,
Yeah.
it can only be so busy when you
I mean,
think about it.
Omaha is more hectic than that place is.
Yeah, because when
So-
you think about it, it can only get so busy.
Yeah.
Right?
With its $20 sandwich.
They've got these weird hybrid kind of, I shouldn't gates, but they're not jet bridges and they're not air stairs. They're kind of like a hybrid between the both, would you say?
Which is what
Yeah,
we did.
it was
like-
like a ramp.
They're like open air jet bridges, if it makes sense.
Yeah, it's like a ramp and it's like open air. So that's actually how I boarded in Miami going to Key West last year. It's like a ramp outside.
It's a big tunnel.
Yeah, a tunnel basically.
Yeah, an air tunnel
So it's pretty
to
cool.
the actual stairs.
And it's crazy boarding that way in an airport like LAX.
Yep.
So
Yeah, at LAX, right? You expect to get a jet bridge and you get,
exactly, yeah.
oh, I
so
have
it's
to be
cool.
outside.
Yeah.
That kind of happened with me in Milan, like taking La Compagnie. Like I had to get on a bus and then
This guy.
walk outside. I love that though. I love that sometimes about Europe, unless it's raining. But LAX, that was
Yeah.
pretty dope.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, we got on the Embraer 175, which was only like 4 or 5 months old. It was a baby.
Yeah,
Right.
she
Okay, whatever.
Actually, I'm not sure.
I thought it was.
she might have been, but she was cute. She was so cute. Any flight on an Embraer is a nice
Did you
flight.
guys have those Embraers are. I actually like them, but
Yeah.
there are rows where you don't line up with the window.
Yes.
We did.
Good, because
Yeah.
there are definitely a lot of them. I shouldn't say a lot of them. The Embraer, just the way those are configured, there's a couple of rows out there where it's a
Yeah.
bummer. It's a real bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially like because when I went out to LA, I was in first class, and I got that side,
Really?
the 1-2
Yeah.
configuration
No
up
way!
there. I like that one.
Yeah,
seat
no,
by
shout out
itself.
to
That
the
is
1-2
nice.
configuration there.
Love it.
I've had that too, first class with that Embraer. Yeah.
Yeah,
Alright, so you guys went to Omaha?
went to Omaha, and made
Shout
it
out
back
Omaha.
safely. You, sir, on the other hand, let's continue on.
So we were both there about the same amount of time. You guys just went a day early. I just went a day late.
Yeah.
So Sunday, I guess we can. That was also known as Masters Sunday. Shout out Rory McIlroy getting the job done. I do want to give one shout out here. So we obviously just spotted all day. I mean, come on, what else are we doing?
Right. Exactly.
There's like so many other times you want to go out and do other things, but you just cannot peel yourself away from the airport.
can't.
You can't. I've tried. You can't do it.
I did it
Can't
my
do
first trip, and then after that, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe to the Dodgers or
Right.
maybe to the LA Galaxy game.
Which again we have done, but it's so like
It's difficult.
Yeah, you almost have to. You legitimately have to force yourself to do something else.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, it was Masters Sunday.
Yeah.
I was gonna give a shout out here. Again, Shayla and I just kind of spotted all day, and whatnot. So we were at Imperial Hill. Yeah, we went and saw you guys depart because you were 95% chance of you being a Southside departure. So we went to Imperial Hill, which is what it's known as. Not.
And not
What?
It sounds so aggressive. But anyway, you guys more than likely was going to be a Southside departure, and also it was Sunday, so Kevin and Rudy were streaming with airline videos. So we went over there, obviously said hello. They were doing their Sunday stream, and luckily you guys did depart south, so we got some pictures of you. But you guys were on the right side of the plane, right?
we were, yeah.
Yeah.
Right side of the plane. Which departing is for selfish reasons, it would have been great to have you on the left side, but for your case, obviously that's a great view.
Yes.
That's a great-
Oh,
When you're
so
departing
good.
LAX, when you're departing south side at LAX and you're sitting on the right side of the plane, it is incredible. Like,
Amazing.
it
Yeah.
really shows the vastness of that airport.
Yep.
It's awesome. But anyway, so yeah, we spotted, and then I had to cut it short because Shayla was gonna stay a while, but I was like, we got to go because I had to watch the end of the Masters. I'm huge sports guy. Huge golf fan. I was like, listen, I've been here, done that. Got to get back to the hotel to watch the Masters. So did that, and then shout out to my buddy Greg. He does Spotting Chronicles. He's on Instagram. Check him out. Also YouTube. Spotting Chronicles. His name's Greg. He came over. The Korean was making another appearance that afternoon.
That's right.
It was, I think,
It was the third day in a
it was
row.
like 3 days in a row.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a high priority jet tip at that point.
No.
For LA, like must be nice.
Right.
But yeah, so he came up to the H. We hung out, did some spotting, and his thing is he kind of likes to do interviews with anyone in the plane spotting community, anyone from pilots to av geeks, the whole spectrum. So definitely check his page out because we did an interview together. Hasn't posted yet, but we were able to knock one out. He and I. So shout out Greg. You're doing great work. Appreciate you, man. Nice to meet you finally. And yeah, I came back then that next day, Monday. Yeah, Shayla took the nonstop that you guys did on Monday.
Yep.
And then I went back through Dallas again. Went on an A321 Neo. A couple years
Nice.
old. A weirdly older Neo now, like
Yeah.
3 years old.
Crazy.
Yeah, because there used to be the day where like almost any Neo was going to be a few months old.
That's interesting when you say it like that.
Right.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
a few years old Neo, and you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it's an old bird now. But anyway, took the Neo.
comparatively.
Everything was on time. It was awesome. But yeah, and then I came back home, and I want to shout out the restroom.
we did it too. The new restrooms
like a-
are
what-
on
what's the word I'm
Shout out to the
demonstration.
restroom.
It's like a demonstration.
It's like a concept. That's
Yeah.
what I'm going for. It's a restroom concept that's in Epley. It's kind of down in where you check in and check bags on the very south side, I guess.
Yeah.
They have just a little mock-up
Yes.
of what the rest. That's the word I was looking for. Boom. Well done. Sweet.
Mock up, but it still works.
Yes.
so
It's a functional
it's not IKEA. It's
Yeah.
It's not a staged toilet, but it is a mock-up. But it's a functioning restroom. But it is kind of cool. It's what it's going to look like in all restrooms, which is, given what if you know Epley nowadays, like this is a
This
huge
is-
upgrade.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Those restaurants are going to be nice.
I can't wait for
Yes.
2028 to be here.
I can't wait to use the restroom there. It's going to be awesome.
Priority number one.
Yeah, no
Bathroom,
pun intended.
beeline.
No pun intended. Number one. Or number two. Who knows?
Right.
Yeah,
So we all got back home safe and sound.
we did. We did.
Hey.
Paige's birthday a success, right?
Absolutely.
Sweet.
Where'd you do it again?
Yeah, my birthday's gonna be on a Saturday next year, so let's
Perfect.
meet back up there again next year, 2026.
All right,
Like,
guys. Everybody
date.
else is hearing.
It's a
hearing
date.
it's going to be Paige Fest.
Y'all hear?
Paige Fest at LAX.
I like that.
Y'all heard it here first. Everyone, book your tickets now.
Uh,
I'll do it. I'm seriously, I will. So yeah, that was amazing.
Hey, don't threaten us with a good time, okay?
right.
I'm threatening you so hard right now.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, speaking of, let's go to Paige's polls. We're going to close out this podcast and let's go ahead and hit it up with Paige. Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right.
Break. Speaking of the restroom, do you need a break?
Does anybody need a break?
Or are we just
good.
going to fly into this?
We're going straight into
Full
this. Do you
send.
need a break?
Full sendy. All right. He's good.
I'm good to go.
All right. Let's go. Paige's polls. Paige's polls. Paige's polls.
Whoa, dude, that was nice.
Wow.
There you go.
That was sick.
That's version number 2.
All right, guys. So, poll number 1. What is the longest flight that you would take in economy? So,
Not what you would, not what have you done. What would you
what
do?
would you
would you do?
Yes. So the options were 1 to 3 hours, 3 to 5 hours, 5 to 10 hours, and then 10 plus hours. The winner of this was 5 to 10 hours. This was a close race with 29%, 10 plus hours at 26%. Oh, excuse me. 3 to 5 hours won at 31%, and then
was
5 to
tight,
10
though.
hours at 29%. 10 plus hours 26, 1 to 3 at 14.
Weirdly split. I kind of didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Me
I'm
either.
sure there's a ton of reasoning, but
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
I didn't vote, but I was going to vote 10 plus just to get the demographic up for 10 plus.
Right.
I didn't
No
vote.
reasoning.
I never vote. I just do it live here on
Yeah.
our.
You don't even vote on your own podcast polls.
Nope.
And you should, because we do.
I feel like it skews the numbers.
Yeah. So
I
the
get it,
the reasons and input is not pulling up on my iPad for whatever reason. Nope,
Technology.
it is. Now it is. So we did have some responses to this. So my dad commented IH_Mike, too cramped. So he voted for, I believe, 1 to 3.
I'm
Good man.
I'm
Good
guessing
man.
you went with the least option.
Yeah. Armin_V_CPT can definitely not afford higher classes, especially in the 10 hours plus flight.
That's fair.
And that was a pretty common one. So Tanner spots planes.
Shout out
Got
to
it in.
Tanner because we saw Tanner
Saw him the other day.
when we had the United 787 come in, which we never have.
Yes.
That was the first time ever.
We had 3 straight days where there was a heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Omaha.
Yeah.
Which was crazy.
787, 757, 767.
Yes.
Yeah.
We never
straight
get those
days.
guys.
Never.
You don't understand.
You really don't, though.
Yeah, so he put 9 hours on a 787 middle row, middle seat was not fun.
Sounds like real life talk there.
Yeah. This is when he went to
This was like one of his first flights too.
Italy or Spain. I can't remember which
Spain.
one. Yeah. And he said
I
it.
don't know. I don't know Tanner. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Tanner. He's one of the locals here.
Yeah, one of the Omaha locals.
Okay, shout out Tanner.
He's 15, 16. I'm not sure.
So then Jet Set Shirts says if it's economy or not going, economy wins.
Well,
So that makes- yeah.
sure. Yeah, fair.
Allison_N_860, I'd break the flights up if the toll journey was longer than 10 hours.
Yeah.
So that makes
if
sense.
possible. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty
And again,
much.
yeah, everyone has their reasoning.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things like if I had to do it, sure. Like if you got to fly 10 plus hours in economy, like if for some reason you've got to get overseas and like you got to do it last minute. Sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're going to do it. You might have to, given the price and whatnot. Not everyone's eligible for certain things.
Right.
you
Yeah.
know? And like if you've got to get somewhere last second, sure, it has to happen. But yeah, I'm not going to willingly maybe do it. But
Yeah. I mean, I flew almost 9 hours in Aer Lingus economy. So after that, I feel like I can pretty much do it all. If anyone has flown them and you know what I'm talking
let's
about.
say prices of no money is not an object. Would you do that again?
You know, I wouldn't say it was bad. And anyone that knows me knows that I'm a very tiny person, and so
Very
it's
small.
very smooth. Yes, very smooth. And so,
She's like this big.
the extra room is not always needed for me, depending on who's sitting
Economy
next
to
to me.
you is different than economy to Ryan Kalkbrenner of Craig Basketball.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. That's,
Which, if you don't know what we're talking, that is a 7-footer.
just look him up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good point. That's a
Yeah.
very good point.
And now, would I choose Comfort Plus, first class, like late flights? Absolutely. If it was in my price range, absolutely.
Yeah, let's
I
not
would
get
do
it twisted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I can handle it, I think, better than a lot of people can.
I'm anxious to hear the answer of our resident first class flyer.
Yeah, me too.
Adama.
So I have
Flown Delta One suites.
He's like, I think the question meant if you had to fly first class for 10 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's one of those things for me that probably the most would be 4 or 5 hours. If I have to, I will, but I have so many aches and pains that I need.
Let's say you've got to get overseas to the wife tomorrow, and economy is the only option. Like, you're going to do it, right?
I would do it, yeah.
Yeah, all right. Yeah,
Right.
see, it's
You're
all
gonna
about
do
circumstantial.
anything that you can to get over there, but my choice today, lucky if I'm going to do 4 or 5 hours.
Resident old person. Adama.
Right.
Thank you.
Oh, God.
Come on,
He's
guys.
not even that old.
It's true.
Right.
Lord almighty.
But good poll, yeah. I mean, with jet set shirts, if it's that or not going, absolutely. Yeah. Shout
Oh, yeah.
out. That
Yeah,
was
if
it, right?
if it meant like somehow from Omaha they said, hey, we were going to start direct flights to Italy.
Or with an airline that is maybe just one class, per se. Like,
There you
let's
go.
call it- if it's an all economy class.
Let's say Ryanair somehow has a magical 12-hour plane,
Yeah.
for a 12-hour plane ride to Milan,
And it's all economy.
which, by the way, Ryanair is my second most flown aircraft still right now.
That shows how
Second most flown airline.
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 Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's funny. That shows how many times you've flown them, given how much you
that
fly.
was
Yeah, what the
that was
heck?
before retirement. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Budgeted Adama.
Fun
Right.
fact. Well,
Lord.
sometimes it really was like, oh, there's a flight 4 hours away, and I have a 3-day weekend. You know what? I'm just gonna take it. So
I've been there. I hear you.
Yeah. So next
Did we
poll,
have
which
ano-
was
ooh,
more of a
another one.
question.
Paige?
Nice.
Yep. If you could only spot at one airport for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
You know, I will say, what a question.
this is a loaded question.
I will say, what a question, by the way. Wow.
Yeah.
Whoever thought of that. Anyway, that was me.
Yeah, it was you.
Let's hear from
Justin's
our
having a moment over here.
The thinking spotter.
let's hear from our
Questions for the
listeners
thinking
while I
spotter.
think about it.
That's it. So let's get into some answers first.
Yeah. I think y'all can guess what the most answered.
Well, I can figure what
thinking
we're
probably
probably.
Watertown, South Dakota.
How'd you know? They've got that one Denver connection flight. So sweet.
Like pretty much everybody said LAX.
Really? I'm
yes.
interested to see if those people like have they even been there?
A lot of them have. So our good friend Matt Garcia, MBG_aviation, decided to pull a little bit of a funny. He said CLT for the variety of airlines.
Oh, so much American.
So much America.
All right. So how about give us the answers that are not LAX then?
Yeah.
So HGrief_ JFK, there's flights from all over the world, and I could sit in the TWA hotel pool.
Absolutely fair.
Yes.
So again, let's talk about the question. If you could only spot at one place for the rest of your life, so that's a good point.
Yeah, and that would be a big dedication.
Yeah.
801_Amper, YVR, amazing scenery and great variety. It's one I didn't think of, but yes.
YVR.
Yep.
Yep.
Very scenic.
Isn't that Vancouver?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude_Zach, SFO and daily parallel landings. Yes.
Yeah. I'm not against any of these.
Nope.
That's for sure.
And then Lauren Fee with a crazy amount of numbers at the end. LHR. So that's
Heathrow, yep.
Heathrow.
yeah, London Heathrow.
Yeah. I've never even been there, but I wouldn't be mad if that was the only place I could spot for the rest of my life. That's for sure.
Yeah.
If
that
the
would be a
weather
cool one.
was better, that would help. But yeah.
It's the rest of your life. You're going to have some good days and bad days.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the rest of your life.
Oh yeah.
Think about that. You're actually getting Singapore A380. You're getting
Yeah.
some
Yeah. Well,
getting
Wait,
more
not
A380s
Singapore
than LA.
A380.
80s,
I mean,
yeah.
Etihad.
You're getting more A380s than LA, and that's a
oh,
lot.
the Etihad.
Yeah.
One of the best liveries ever.
And the big Q A380.
Yes. Evan_Almighty 95 MSP, very easy place to spot. He lives there.
He lives there. Yeah, works there.
But see, that's kind of where I was getting at with this question. I wondered how many people were going to pick their home airports, because some people, like, if it's the rest of your life, maybe you're not into that anymore. You're bored of it, kind of thing.
And so my parents actually both answered with LAX because it's, well, my dad said it was, haven't been around all the airports like we have. And then my mom said, as long as Paige, Justin, and Adama come, LAX, and go to burger places.
Shout out. Appreciate that.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Deal.
Let's all go back again. Plan it now.
No one said Millard Airport. No one said Elkhorn Municipal.
No, however, I've spotted at Millard before.
Listen, if you're...
Oh, yeah, the tri-motor.
Listen,
Yeah.
You know if you're a good spotter if you've spotted at Millard Airport before. If you're, at least locally, yeah.
Yeah. And my old apartment was right in, like, the flight line. So I would be on my balcony just to the air, like, you know.
So let's go around the table here.
This is a tough one.
Ladies first. Again, the question is for the rest of your life. You will not be spotting anywhere else ever.
I'm conflicted between Omaha and LAX because LAX for obvious reasons. In Omaha, it's home. I can go and do it whenever I want. You know, so.
Well, yeah, but again, for the rest of your life, meaning like LAX would be readily available per se. Like hypothetically is the question.
Like money is not an option. I can go right now and just go spot.
Yeah, but that's the only airport you can ever go to ever again.
It would probably be LAX.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, same. I mean, I want to say JFK because, like, honestly, the variety of JFK is insanely unique, and that's saying a lot to LAX. But,
yeah, that's on my bucket
given
list.
all the given all, yeah, it's just the weather, everything. Yep, give me LAX. Boom, done.
Oh, man, if you throw the weather and then LAX, but...
Because you got to take all factors in, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, then if we're going to do that, then it's going to be LAX. But for
Well,
me...
then what else do you think?
For me, it would have been London Heathrow.
Yeah.
Because
I thought you were going to say Amsterdam.
I love the diversity. I love Amsterdam because they have that spotting deck out there, but...
Exactly,
it's
another
not,
factor.
It's not that diverse, though. There's so much KLM. It's a lot of KLM.
Again,
I've never
even been to Heathrow, but I'd be willing to have that be my only airport.
Think about, again, every airline that has an A380 is sending it there.
Yeah. I mean, let's go there sometime. I get a road trip to London.
You have all the airlines. You could have American Airlines that are going to show up there too. American Delta, American.
Yeah, the big three, man. Even JetBlue.
JetBlue goes there. So you're getting...
it's variety, yeah.
A very diverse. I think it's one of the most diverse. I think Dubai is a little bit diverse. But
no, in terms of like, I will say like Heathrow and LAX are definitely like elite when it comes to variety of airlines, of airline variety and spotting locations too.
Yeah.
Again, another factor is like if you're going to only spot at one airport for the rest of your life, how many spotting locations are there, right?
Yeah, because there's some where it's just impossible to spot.
Like Omaha.
It's tougher to spot, yeah. And
I've seen way worse than Omaha.
But again, just another one of those factors. If you're going to spot there for the rest of your life, you want to at least have a variety of places to go.
Yeah,
at that
exactly.
airport. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we've come to that conclusion. This closes out Paige's polls. Let's go ahead and close out this podcast. Let's talk about where we're all going next. I guess, unfortunately, it's just me. Cause
of course.
You know what?
Of course.
God, you always do this, man.
I wanted you guys to, we didn't talk about that ahead of time. Anyways, so yes, I'm headed to Chattanooga next weekend. I'm taking Delta out to Chattanooga and taking United back. Flying out of Kansas City.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go to Chattanooga for, there's a soccer team out there that I'm a part owner of. So I want to go check them out finally. That's it for trips. Let's go ahead and do the social.
Has there been a podcast where you haven't had an upcoming trip?
Yes.
Has there?
Ooh.
There has
been. That's a good question.
Are you just saying that to end the question?
No, I'm positive there has
saying that to make us feel better about ourselves.
There was one time last year where I didn't fly. Like
I do actually remember that, I think. One time. One time.
No, it was like 2 months where I didn't fly last year.
Whoa.
Hey, Matt Garcia and we were trying to beat each other, and he beat me out at the end of most flights in a year.
It must be nice,
Yeah.
Okay, social media train. Paige, where can we follow you?
You can follow me at Oma_spotter_Paige, and you can follow my travel buddy adventures with Aileron. Almost had a plane avalanche. She is right here, and she just celebrated her 4th birthday on the 19th of April. So,
happy birthday.
Aileron. other one's a guy or a girl?
She's a girl.
That's right.
Yes.
Justin.
Spotting Omaha. That's where you can find me.
There we go. And you follow me, Photography by Adama D, on the Instagram. You can like, subscribe, follow, share us on all the social media platforms. And please go ahead and give us some thumbs up and reviews on our podcast, please.
Please.
Oh, yeah, we're at the Exit Row Pod on Instagram.
On Instagram, yeah.
Don't, at least listen.
Yeah. And from us three here in Omaha, Nebraska.
Shout out to Henry.
Shout out.
Our mascot, yeah.
Sorry, Loaf.
Don't worry, I got him.
So from us three here in Omaha, Nebraska, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next.
Oh, yeah, that's right. All right.
What?
We good? Everyone good?
I think we're good.
Everyone have
We're good.
anything else to air?
I don't think so.
All right. Team Exit Row on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Exit Row.
Exit row.